Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Who has liked this book so far? Very good one, right? Okay, so today we're going to start with chapter 7. Chapter 7 is a very important one as well. Everything has been important, but I think this is very crucial for us to understand what spiritism or spiritualism is. It wasn't clear to me until very fairly recent, and probably I don't know all about it, but I think it's really important that we pray about it and that we ask the Lord to open our eyes to this trap that Satan is putting in front of us and in front of our youth, in front of our church, and it has entered our churches, has entered, it's widely spread, and we need to open our eyes. Okay, so presentation is not there yet, but we can start reading. I don't know who would like to just read the very first three little parts. It's just under the title of synthesis. Just that part.
Synthesis. The last days will be characterized by an extraordinary manifestation of spiritualism. It will emerge as one of the three great powers to deceive and persecute the faithful. Spiritualism not only appears as a member of the terrible Triple Alliance mentioned in Revelation 16, 13, and 14, they're called the dragon, but it also as the common medium for binding the other members together. Therefore, after the prophet says that he saw three unclean spirits come out of the mouth of the dragon, spiritualism, the beast, Catholicism, and the false prophet, apostate Protestantism, he adds that they're the three spirits of devils working miracles, that they are the three spirits of devils working miracles. In other words, spiritualism dominates the three institutions and it will manifest itself by means of supernatural works. This process will culminate in Satan's attempt to imitate time's greatest event, the second coming of Christ. The only way anyone can be protected from these deceptions, ever more subtle as time advances, is to be firmly rooted in the truth by the study of the Word of God and the Spirit of prophecy.
So, what is spiritism or spiritualism? Can anyone what does it have to do with anything? Anyone can just an idea from what the chapter says, or anyone want to participate?
Yes, a mix of demonic influence with religion and false doctrine, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an error of truth.
Yes, and I want to read from this in page 118, the fourth paragraph. It says, Satan has long been preparing for his final effort to deceive the world. To deceive what? The world. It means everyone. The foundation of his work has laid by the assurance given to Eve in Eden. So the foundation of spiritualism or spiritism lies in the lie that Satan gave to Eve in the garden on Eden. And what was that lie?
You should not surely die.
You shall not surely die, but the serpent said something else. What else? It says, in the day ye eat therefore, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So that is the foundation of spiritism. Little by little, he has prepared the way for his masterpiece of deception in the development of spiritualism. He has not yet reached the full accomplishment of his designs, but it will be reached in the last remnant of time. Says the prophet, I saw three unclean spirits like frogs. They are the spirit of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of the God Almighty. Like eventually what he wants is to gather everyone in battle when the Lord comes, okay? So we already answered that question, and we already established that the foundation of Spiritism lies in the lies of the serpent, correct? You know, these lies were diffusely, were widely spread through the Bible times. And you know what, when the people, the Lord's people were about to enter the promised land, the Lord said, you know, when you come into the land which the Lord your God is giving to you, you shall not learn to follow the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or daughter pass through the fire as sacrifice. You know, this is full-blown idolatry. One who uses divination and fortune telling, one who practices witchcraft, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who casts a charm or spell, or a medium, or a spirit, or a necromancer. So it was not, I mean, this has been forever there. It's just that Satan has evolved during all these 6,000 years, his tactics and his ways of presenting these to the world, right? So Spiritism has not changed. It has only been presented to us in a different package. Now, I'm just going to mention just a few things, right? The Eastern practices, and we have to understand that is a religion. So the religion of the East has been widely accepted in the West, sometimes camouflaged under the umbrella of science, or even established as science.
And also, in general, people love to know about the future.
Oh yes,
And
knowledge.
that will get them more enticed in getting to know it, to get into the spiritualism.
Yeah.
We want to know what will happen to them, what will rich if they put, what will happen if they'll own such and such and such. So that's a tricky way how the enemy get people into
Yes.
bringing them into his realm.
Yeah.
Because we can see in the Bible when Saul went to the woman at Endor, find out Saul.
Mm-hmm.
And Saul, when Saul was king, he was killing these people.
Mm-hmm.
But now when Saul went himself to find out about Samuel, and you could see how it happens and what happened. He thought it was Samuel, it wasn't Samuel,
It was
the enemy himself.
Yeah.
So that alone is telling us that it will happen, it will come again. The people, when they start to see all these things happening, they will believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's true. He could do that. The enemy will do that. He will get it prosper. You think it's God blessing.
Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah, it's another spirit, completely different.
I was just gonna add, I see yoga under this, and I was watching a documentary. And it was from a woman who practices yoga, and she was teaching it for a while. Then she realized that it's actually demonic.
Blessings.
And she was saying how people, in the East who actually practice these things, they know how serious it is, and they were scared of it. There were a lot of people who are very fearful because they've seen things as they are practicing these things. So it's not like, but the Satan works so deceptively, because he'll bring it over here where it's more accepted. We don't see these things as often, right? We don't see demonic people being possessed how they do in the East or in third world countries. So it's widely accepted because of that. But
It's widely accepted. There's people who gather together. There's to do yoga, and some of these poses, sanas, they mean something. You're literally either worshiping or you're summoning like a spirit with one of those poses that you do, like the sun salutations. What are you doing with the sun salutations? Why are you saluting? Right? It's a trap.
And that's one more thing. Hindu believe in yoga. And I see a lot of from my background, they sit down and they stay there for days.
Mhm.
And when people go into a vacation, like in India, these countries, they will want to try it. And when they do try it, they feel good. But it's not all about feeling good, about what behind it.
What's
So
behind of
So
it?
yoga does, they give you a nice calm feeling, you take yourself out and just feel good.
Yeah. It is a trap.
Yes.
It's Satan, as I said, it's a religion that has been widely accepted. And many people say, oh no, it's just exercise. We're not doing the spiritual part. You cannot separate the stretches or the poses from the spiritual part. Like just doing a sun salutation, and if you have ever participated, I have participated in yoga classes, you will always warm up with the sun salutations. Always. You will always, always, always start with sun salutations. And you're basically worshiping the sun, basically, with that. So it's you cannot separate the spiritual from the stretches. They go together. But then it's widely accepted in this in the West, right? So we have another example, traditional Chinese medicine, which uses, acupuncture practices like Tai Chi, Qigong, to restore the balance. Remember the yin and yang, which is, anyway, you have Ayurveda, yoga, martial arts, such as, like Kung Fu, Aikido, Judo, Karate, all of them have same use, same. And, more like Western stuff, you have New Age, Gnosticism, witchcraft, just to name a few. Now let's see if it works. I'm gonna show you this, continue. Could you help me, please? It didn't work. I'm gonna show you a 13-minute, I don't know if anyone here knows Brother Eric Wilson. He's someone who had practiced some of these martial arts for many years. It's just 13 minutes. It's very long. It's almost 2 hours long, but if anybody is interested, you can just finish it up. Even though he's focusing a little bit on the martial arts aspect, he makes a nice summary of these things. So I think it's a really nice video that we can just watch. It's a 13-minute.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought, and his angels, and prevailed not. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, the accuser which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Well, he trained for years in self-defense. Now a martial arts instructor is defending himself in court, accused of sexually assaulting a student.
That is black magic.
Yes,
Oh, absolutely.
she's just serious about that. And monsters and ghosts as well.
Oh, sure. And sorcery.
And I suppose that you expect me to believe in sorcery as well.
Of course,
Why?
because it's real.
How can I know that, Mr. Shannon?
How?
Yes, how? help me out here, please.
See, that was nothing. But that's how it always begins. Very small.
The floodgates of Eastern mysticism and New Age thought were opened in the West through cinema and literature, focused on a generation searching for its identity. With the Cultural Revolution, Woodstock and the Beatles, martial arts, yoga, and the introduction of transcendental meditation found a growing acceptance among baby boomers. Television shows and films such as David Carradine's Kung Fu, The Green Hornet, Billy Jack, and Bruce Lee's Epic brought the mystical powers of the martial arts into the homes and lives of millions of Americans. And a country once historically Christian in background and belief began to flirt with the ideologies of the Far East. And little did we realize the price we would pay for stepping onto this enchanted ground. During the 1970s and 80s, martial arts became mainstream. With the introduction of full contact karate and kickboxing to the public, the martial arts were now being promoted not only as self-defense, but as a sport, as health and fitness, and even as a family activity. Martial arts, Tai Chi, and yoga classes began springing up in YMCAs and health clubs across the US. And Hollywood and the printed page brought secrets of the Far East within reach of the imaginations of millions of Americans, while promising them discipline, self-confidence, self-control, and self-esteem. During the 1990s, Chinese masters with their internal arts of Tai Chi, Bagua, Xing Yi, and Qigong began publishing books which revealed the methods of attaining these once secret abilities of the martial art legends. And there is now a growing interest in the spiritual powers and practices of these men of the East. Even many celebrities and politicians have revealed their active participation in these and other mystical Eastern arts. Today, the martial arts, seductively blended with metaphysics and psychology, has begun to take on a more scientific facade. Once traditionally secret arts are now being taught as the means to achieve not only personal protection, but self-healing, self-awareness, and emotional regeneration. Self-empowerment has become the god of this age. A web of Eastern philosophy and mysticism is being spread in an ever-increasing attempt to capture the hearts and minds of this last generation. Through Hollywood, the film and entertainment industry is weaving an illusion of the martial arts being both scientific as well as spiritual. And it is this blend of science and spiritism which will prove to be the final omega of apostasy, which was foretold by the apostles of Jesus Christ.
I put the Force into the movie in order to try to awaken a certain kind of spirituality in young people. More belief in God than a belief in any particular, religious system. I mean, the real question is to ask the question, because if you can have enough interest in the mysteries of life to ask the questions: is there a God or is there not a God? That's for me the worst thing. If you ask a young person, is there a God? They say, I don't know. I think you should have an opinion about that.
The question must be asked, a belief in what God? Who hath ascended up into heaven or descended down from above? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? And what is this mystery which Lucas and others are spending billions to introduce to the youth of our generation? Let no man deceive you by any means, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. According to the Chinese classic, the Tao Te Ching, the Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth both to good and evil. The Tao is called the Great Mother, empty yet inexhaustible. It gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you, and you can use it any way you want. This spiritual energy called the Tao, or universal life force, is symbolized by the mystical figure of the yin and yang. And it is through this merging of light with darkness, these two opposite yet supposedly equal powers, that harmony and the Tao is manifest, and spiritual gifts and abilities are said to be achieved. This description is identical to that of the power used by the Jedi and Sith warriors in the Star Wars film series. This very same power is also called by them the Force, and it is this force of light and darkness, of good and evil, which Lucifer claims to be. It is this spirit and power which has been worshipped by every occult and pagan religion since the dawn of time. Albert Pike, the author of Morals and Dogmas, states this belief in unmistakable terms. Yes, Lucifer is God, and unfortunately, Adonai, or the Lord Jesus, is also God. For the eternal law is that there is no light without shade, no beauty without ugliness, no white without black. For the absolute can only exist as two gods, darkness being necessary to light. Simply put, pure philosophic religion is the belief in Lucifer, the equal of Adonai. But Lucifer, God of light and God of good, is struggling for humanity against Adonai, the God of darkness and evil. And professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. For if therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? According to both Asian and occult philosophy, this force or energy is said to dwell within all matter, the rocks, the trees, the planets, animals, and every human being. And although hidden, it is said to be only awaiting to be awakened. An awakening which is achieved through the practice of Eastern meditation, breathing techniques, mantra chanting, visualization, hypnosis, and countless other occult practices. It is this spiritual energy which all Eastern religions credit as the true source of their power. Although this mysterious power is called by different names in every culture, its principles and manifestations are always the same. For what is known as Qi by the ancient Chinese is called Qi in the Japanese art of Aikido, while to the Hindu, this same power is known as Prana. To the Polynesian people, it is called Mana or Mana, energy. And by many New Age practitioners in the West, this spiritual power is called Oragon, vibrational or subtle energy. And this same spiritual energy today is being used and promoted by New Age gurus worldwide to martial artists across the world. The cultivation, control, and demonstration of this energy is considered the highest and most sought after ability. Qi is said to be manifest through harmonizing both positive and negative forces of the universe within the human body. This energy has been demonstrated by martial artists in countless ways: stone, brick, or board breaking, iron body exhibitions, performing seemingly impossible feats of acrobatic skill, withstanding extremes of temperature, exhibiting superhuman strength, speed, and explosive power. And this same mysterious energy, which is used by disciples and masters of these combative arts, is also demonstrated by Qigong and Reiki practitioners, by acupuncturists, acupressurists, Tai Chi masters, yoga gurus, and New Age holistic healers. To many, this power is called the God spark or cosmic consciousness. But regardless of its name, this esoteric power is from one and the same source, that old serpent, the devil. In the philosophy of yin and yang, nothing is of itself considered to be inherently evil or wrong. Everything is said to be good so long as it is used to maintain balance of the Tao and the greater good of the universe. This then is the martial arts' most subtle deception, for according to this philosophy, That which is called God owes its very existence to the joining of light with darkness. But the word of the Lord assures us that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. In this pagan philosophy, there are no absolutes, or as Aleister Crowley stated, do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And this poor man, who was a legend and an icon in the music and film industry, spent the final hours of his life in a state of hopelessness, dread, and fear. In these teachings, truth becomes merely the point of one's own perspective. And the serpent's whisper, hath God really said, can be as verily heard today as it was so long ago. And the shadow of doubt is cast upon Jehovah's holy word. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. To the law and to the testimony of his Spirit, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
You can stop there.
The symbols of tiger and dragon.
Okay, so this is Brother Eric Wilson. He has, in combination with Little Light Studios, they did this documental. For part one is only his testimony. It's a very, very powerful testimony. I think anyone interested could just watch. And part two, which is the video that I just showed you, is also very long. It's actually a 6 or 7 part video. I only showed you the first part. This, he goes like full deep into like spiritualism. Although he focused on martial arts, he touches a little bit about everything. So it's a good documental to watch. But let's keep going. So all these have something in common: the lie of the immortality of the soul, the lie that there is a God within you that you must awaken to achieve enlightenment or true knowledge. So the lie, the love of knowledge, the control, right? You don't need a God because you are a God. The strength is within you. So I want you to start thinking about like keywords when you like are faced to something in front of you. These keywords help you see what's beneath what you're like watching, listening to, or even reading. So inner self, inner energy or energy, breathing, meditation, self-empowerment, empowering, self-discovery, inner strength, chi or ki, follow your heart. And follow your heart is the theme of whom? Who has this theme all over? Disney movies, right? Follow your heart. It's I'm gonna give you an example because we're running out of time and we'll continue on another time, but it says in witchcraft, and I'm going somewhere with this. So in witchcraft, consecrating a circle, often called casting a circle or calling a circle, is a ritual to establish a sacred and protected space for magic working. It involves invoking the 4 elements or the spirits of the elements: earth, air, fire, and water. And sometimes a 5th element, which is called spirit, to create a barrier and enhance energy within a circle. The circle is believed to hold and amplify the practitioner's intention and energy. It's the way that they do magic, right? Making it a powerful tool for rituals and magic work. So here we have a pentagram, right? In witchcraft, the 5th element is typically considered to be spirit or the divine, often represented by the topmost point of the pentagram. So the divine that's in you, but we're talking about here about demon possession. They summon the spirits and then they expect the 5th spirit to be within them, and that's how they do magic. But who is doing this? They are literally possessed, right? So I bring this to you because I've never seen so many little girls wanting to be like Elsa from Frozen 2, right? And this is a piece of a song that she sings. She's entering, I have not watched this movie. I've just read a little bit about it, and I watched Little Light Studios documental about it. But I read this song, the lyrics of this song, it says, show yourself. What is she asking? She's in this dark room full of lights and she's saying, I'm dying to meet you. Show yourself. It is your turn. Are you the one I've been looking for all my life? Show yourself. I am ready to learn. And then she's shown in this round place where she says, come unto me now. And every time she says, come unto me now, one of the spirits, like water, earth, come to her and surround her. And then she says, don't make me wait one moment more. Come to me now. Open your door. Don't make me wait one moment more. And then suddenly she is surrounded by this beam of light. And it's like a jet of light that shoots up, right? And it says, show yourself. Step into your power. Step into what? Whose power is she asking? She's basically asking the devil to possess her. And then yet we are letting our children watch this at home. Is she doing, is listening to this at home? She's basically doing witchcraft in your house, basically, like literally. And then you have your little ones singing this song with her. What is this song doing to our children, right? It says, show yourself and step into your power, throw yourself into something new. And then suddenly after this beam goes away, she is right in front of her dead mother talking to her, necromancy, right? You are the one, says the mother to the girl, right? You've been waiting for, you're the one you've been waiting for all your life. Show yourself. So same theory, the Eastern theory that you have a God within you. Do you guys know what namaste means? Anyone?
Oh, wow. The good in me sees the good in you. No.
The divine in me salutes the divine in you.
Oh,
Okay? So it's the same theory. It's the same lies over and over again. You are God, right? You will be like God. You will be, and witchcraft, they want to be powerful. They seek power. They seek, knowledge, right? To be enlightened as well. And then I have a few verses, Leviticus 26, and the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards to go a-whoring after them. I will even set my face against the soul and will cut him off from among his people. And then I want you to guess who in Chronicles, who's the king that this verse is talking about. And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. Also, he observed times and used enchantments and used witchcraft and dealt with familiar spirits and with wizards. He wrought much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. And he set a carved image, the idol which he had made in the house of God. This is Manasseh. And we're basically living in the same era, like this is being candy coated for our children. Peter Pan, the beloved boy that never grows up, is deeply inspired by the Greek god Pan, who is the god of the wild nature, shepherds, and music. And I'm not going to talk about Pan because it's grotesque. So but things that they have and similar things that they have in common. So both Pan and Peter Pan are deeply connected to nature. So we have like some sort of like pantheism here. They have untamed nature. Both figures possess a wild and untamed spirit, defying social norms and expectations. Then we have our children watch this, and then we expect them to obey us, to not rebel. But this is what they're hearing over and over and over in the innocent movies that we think they're watching. They're not. I mean, these industries have nothing to do with God, nothing at all. They have panpipes, right? We have here the pan flute that he's playing, whatever. And, they also are immortal, right? So immortal soul. Here's a picture of just one of those pictures that you find if you search for God, Pan God, and then something that have been watched by many children as well from other movies, right? This one, oh my gosh, this was the very first movie I ever watched when I was a child from Disney, and I actually watched it in the movie theater. I laughed like no one else laughed in that movie theater. I mean, my mom, I don't know if she can remember, but I I was laughing so much. And this is what Satan does. He hides things under a, this is funny, this is fun, right? But then he introduces things that we cannot see but are deeply seated. If I have time, I can tell you a little bit. I don't think I'll have time, but I can tell you about how these movies have influenced my life personally. But it says, I can show you the world. And I want you to read both blue sentences here. I can show you the world and I can open your eyes. Who said that? Who said it?
Satan.
Satan. Okay. Interestingly, when they're flying in the carpet, right? Who is Aladdin? Who is he? What is he? What is he? What is his profession? He's a thief. He is a thief. He grabs an apple and gives it to the princess. Who is the princess? She's the daughter of the king, right? We don't see this because we think this is just innocent things that we show to our children. It says, I can show you the world shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now, when did you last let your heart decide? Follow your heart. Do as thou wilt, right? I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder over sideways and under on a magic carpet ride. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no or where to go or say we're only dreaming. Again, and we expect our children to obey us when we're like bombarding them with these ideas that are being seated in their minds. And I put this picture because I couldn't put the picture where she actually is with her attire there and her figure. But what are we sitting on our girls' minds, right? She basically is naked. And she, in this scene, she is seducing Jafar, which is the bad guy. She's basically going and she's walking in a way where she seduces him and she goes and kisses him when she's like half naked. So what are we teaching to our girls? What are they, how do they want to look, right? So anyway, the gene, this is the guy who made me laugh so much in this movie. Oh my gosh, he was hilarious, so I thought. The concept of jinn, also spelled gene or genies, or sometimes gene, is a transliteration variance, appears across various traditions, especially in Islamic theology, Middle Eastern folklore, and to some extent the Western occult and spiritist systems. In the Western occult traditions, jinn might be equated with elements, spirits, or even demons, depending on the source. Some magicians see jinn as part of this astral plane, non-corporeal beings that can be summoned or communicated with through ritual magic. In Islamic and Middle Eastern contexts, jinn are mentioned in the Quran and Hadith, where they are described as beings created from smokeless fire. Normally, they're invisible, but they can manifest or possess people. They can move quickly, shapeshift, and influence or whisper to humans. And this is where ideas of demonic temptation tie in. Some jinn are believed to possess people or cause harm, and exorcism are performed in Islamic traditions to remove them. Yet,
That's where we get figure it's that's when they put jinx on you when you're under a jinx. This is where it comes from the
jinn, I didn't even think about that. But then this blue guy is telling Aladdin, come on, whisper what it is, what you want. You ain't never had a friend like me. Okay? So basically it's a demon, and the children are amused with this character and they laugh. It's all hidden behind this like very funny stuff. And I could go on and on and on. I just, this is just a few movies that are heavily influenced by these spiritualism. All of them are, but I just showing you a few of them, Soul, Lion King, Pocahontas, Elemental. We find all sort of things, the main thing here is, through Disney, Pixar, Hollywood, video games, and etc. Our children, our youth. I only talk about the little children movies. I haven't talked about the more, real, not, comic movies, but this is deep, Our children are being robbed of purpose and identity. When you show a little girl these half-naked comics or, very, I don't know, their figure, how they are portrayed on these movies, what do they want to be like, right? It's, identity. What is your identity? Your identity are only found in God. purpose is only found in God. These movies, and I can speak out of experience on this, it robs you from identity and purpose. When there is no purpose, pleasure becomes the greatest calm. And this is the problem with our children and with our youth. You know, it has to do with it. Of course, there's many other things around because we are at the end of Satan is angry and he's doing this. He's attacking in every single way that he can. But this is a big because our youth and our children spend many hours. The only when you sit in front of a TV anyway, you're putting your mind in jeopardy, basically. So kids are raised to question every form of establishment. Ask why, challenge norms, form their own opinions based on evidence and logic. This is very dangerous. And be skeptical of everything, right? The common themes on these movies are follow your heart, not the expectations, break the rules, rebel, or escape. You know, they are usually taken into a self-discovery journey, you know, to reach enlightenment, which is just, you know, Eastern philosophies, right? All you need is within you, right? You don't need God. You are God. Do what thou wilt. Desire pleasure instead of purpose. There, you know, most of these, because at the end, the movies always end, oh, what a beautiful movie, right? Like the rebel comes home, but they never come to be under the expectations, you know, under the law of their parents. They always become someone else, right? They don't fit into the old mold. They bring a newer, better version of themselves, a new harmony, right? Yin and yang. You know, they are there, but they're living authentically as they desire.
It's interesting, you mentioned at the beginning of this, how these companies such as Disney, et cetera, have nothing to do with God.
They have nothing to do with God.
I'll say it again. You mentioned here how these companies like Disney and Pixar, Hollywood have nothing to do with God. But actually they do, because your bullet point here,
Oh, which God?
all you need is within you. You don't need God, you are
Yeah.
God. So it's very spiritual, like you're
Yes.
pointing out, and it does have to do with replacing true God subtly, moving you into a place where you just accepted the false
Excellent.
God of yourself.
Yes.
When you don't even realize it, you're getting it as a kid. You have no way to even understand what you're accepting.
Yes. Okay, I think we run out of time, yes?
Oh, my tears are because I bought that movie Moana 2 for my grandchildren. And it's just poison.
But that's why we're here, right? We are here as a community to learn from each other. I have to say we're run out of time, but we will keep talking about this because this is just a little scratch. We are here and, you know, God knows our heart, you know, and God knows that it's
Invalids.
we know that we know that we are blessed that God is merciful with us and shows us like on time. You know, He wants us to be aware of these things, and this is what Satan is going to use for the last times. Like basically, spiritualism is everywhere, as you know, you rightly said. You know, what God are we like really worshiping? You know, it's and when we go to self God, it's basically Satan. Yeah, but you know, the Lord will give a way out, you know, that's why you're here, so, yeah.
Go back to our children, taught the spiritualism, it was that not put up here.
Yeah.
So Disney is covered up some things.
Watch all Harry Potter movies, by the way. And as I said, I don't have more time, but they have deeply influenced me in my life. And maybe another time I can tell you, but the Lord is so merciful and He has me by His grace here too.
Okay. Dr. Ida, we cannot thank you enough for this presentation. So I'm sorry, Jeff, for having gone over a little bit. This is part 1 of 3 parts.